Be sure to come ready to have some fun. Be ready to engage, ask questions, network, meet other student athletes, meet the professionals that are there. Be ready to be empowered, and be ready to learn how you can make some money. It's the Relate to Athletes Summit, and we are focusing on mental health and athlete development. It's taking place Friday, April the 19th at Lipscomb Academy Sports Complex here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can go to R2A Summit, the letter R, the number 2, and the letter A, summit.com, and you can register right there. It's free.
Welcome to TSU Human Performance Sports Science Podcast, where we dive into the fascinating world of sports science and innovation, right here at Tennessee State University.
We are your hosts.
I'm Neil Monet
and Franka Sindicic, and today we are taking you on an exciting journey to educate, entertain, and keep you up to date of happenings right here on our campus.
In each episode of TSU HPSS, we'll bring you exclusive interviews with our expert faculty, coaches, student athletes, and our students from our departments who are making stride in this field.
You will gain the insights into the latest training techniques, nutrition strategies, and sports psychology breakthroughs that are now shaping the future of sports performance.
All while bringing it to you from an HBCU perspective. Hello and welcome back to our new TSU HPSS podcast. Today we have 3 guests, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and let you know, guys, what they're doing. Whoever want to start first.
All right, well, I'll start. My name is Ashley Danielle. I am the founder and executive director of ABC Sports Foundation. It's a nonprofit that helps athletes understand their passions, and it includes event management, nonprofit management, and then also NIL education.
Ladies first. Who's next?
My name is Mickey Brown. I'm with U.S. Bank. I am a business access advisor. My goal is to make sure that we bring financial literacy to the communities in which we serve.
Hey, what's up, Big Blue Nation? I got to say that my name is Eric Capehart. I am the founder and a mental performance coach at Relate to Athletes, and we are a mental performance company for athletes.
All right, and we have you guys today here to talk about a special event. That's called the R2A. I'm gonna let you actually explain all the details about it, but yeah, let me know more about that.
Yeah, so it's the Relate to Athletes Summit, and we are focusing on mental health and athlete development. It's taking place Friday, April the 19th at Lipscomb Academy Sports Complex here in Nashville, Tennessee. And the whole premise of this event is to give athletes, student athletes like yourselves, greater access to mental health resources, and to give you education and knowledge around monetizing your own personal brand.
What are your different roles into that project, into that event?
So I would say I'm probably the connector. Eric had done this event last year at the Nissan Stadium. It was mental health focused, but then I bring in the brand development education. So we just decided this year, let's put our forces together and make something great happen.
And I'm going to say this because she didn't say it. She's also the one that's keeping this ship sailing as far as planning and keeping us organized and making sure that we are crossing the T's and dotting the I's and making sure we have a great event.
Yeah, that's that event management side of the services.
What about you?
I would say I am more of the bringing the financial literacy piece to it. So as we think about the part Eric brings when it comes to the behaviors and things like that, I think when we think about the NIL and what that means, name, image, and likeness, it brings the opportunity for our students, college students, athletes to gain financially. And in gaining that financially, our goal is to make sure when they have that opportunity that they take full advantage of it, right? So bring that financial literacy piece to them, helping them understand that this is an opportunity for them to create generational wealth for themselves and how to manage that money. So our goal is to bring that to them, show them all the different opportunities that they have available to them in getting this money and how we can help them with it.
So I understand that it's not the first time that you're doing that event. So what are your goals and project for this one coming up?
So one of the big goals this year is to really expand the reach of the conference, and that's why we partnered up with ABC Sports and a few other partners, because we put on a great event last year. But just like this year, like you guys can't come, we had a situation where a lot of the students couldn't make it. And so we really want to expand the reach and get this information in front of the students. And another very important part of this is we actually want to have some fun. You know, we don't just want to put talking heads in front of students for hours all day long. You know, we want to give you the information, but we also want to make it fun and engaging and also interactive for all the participants.
So what can students expect from it? Who will be the speakers? What are going to be the topics that you're going to talk about?
So, I'll share some. So we're going to have a keynote speaker from the NFL. His name is Roman Oben. He is the vice president of football development. So he's going to be coming and talking about his experience as a an executive in the NFL. He also has sons who are athletes, and they are taking advantage of NIL. We're also going to have we have a psychologist. Actually, she works here at TSU. Her name is Dr. Martin. Dr. Raquel Martin. She's going to be talking about how you can be a whole person as an athlete, not just an athlete. So she's going to be there talking with us. We also have a former Division I football player from Vanderbilt University who's going to be talking about dealing with tragedy and trauma as an athlete. Those are some of the people we have. You want to share the other speakers?
Yeah, so can't name them by name, but some of the other sessions that we're having is the business of me. So we've got Jamesetta Cleveland. She educates parents in the NIL space, because it's not just about the athlete. Once you're starting to make money, everybody comes into play, all family members. So we're going to have that. And then we have navigating legal aspects of your brand, because once you have, you are a brand as an athlete, but how do you navigate that? You would also need to think of it as an LLC versus, okay, I'm taking money just for myself, because there's tax liability to that, which I think, Mickey could speak more to. But everything is a holistic approach of wanting you guys to be there so that you understand everything that comes with brand development, or let's say NIL education.
So when I think about what we're doing is we're filling in the gaps, right? So oftentimes you have people who become professional athletes, and they know their sport, right? They know how to do it. They know how to be successful at it. But with that come a lot of other pieces. So I like to look at, they said holistic. This is holistic from A to Z. And let's make sure we take care of all of it, because when you think about an athlete, if he's not good in one area, it affects his ability to be able to perform in whatever specialty he's good at, right? So we want to make sure that the behavior part is there, that he's not stressed out about the money and things like that, that we're giving him the tools to help them be able to navigate and continue to be successful.
So, Miss Mickey, I understood that you're basically the money part in this everything. So,
well, I mean,
partner.
thank you for saying that. But I wouldn't say that we're the money part, but U.S. Bank is really big in making sure we get back to the community. So this is one of the pillars that we're really interested in when we look at U.S. Bank access to commitment. Our commitment is to make sure that we foster whatever we can in financial literacy, access to capital, creating generational wealth, whatever we can do. So this is an opportunity for us to sponsor an event that's going to make an impact to the community and to the youth of the community.
Okay, and my question for you, Miss Danielle, is how did you become a director of ABC, a nonprofit foundation?
Through a lot of trials and falls and just, oh my gosh. So I used to work with a sports agency, and one of the things that I realized is that an agent's going to tell you to start a nonprofit, but they're not going to tell you what to do with it. Then they're also going to tell you to do a football camp or a basketball camp so that you can just get out of their hair so that they can find the next recruit. Realizing that when I was talking to the players, that they want to do more. It's just they don't know how. They don't have anyone telling them how to run an event or how to really make impact. Because those camps, although they're great for that one day, but they're not a programming piece. These kids love this any player, but they want you to come back. They want to see you. But when you have one-offs, it doesn't really help build what you need in the community. So ABC is here to connect athletes businesses through community outreach. So that's what ABC stands for. And then also our tagline is we make it as easy as ABC, because you don't have to do anything but show up when you're working with my brand, I guess.
And then a question for you, Mr. Eric. So you said that you kind of had event like this last year.
Yeah.
So how come did you decide to also put the player development part in this year's?
Yeah, I mean, because again, it goes back to the holistic thing that Mickey was talking about. We know with athletes, you're a whole person, right? You're not just a person who hits a ball or throws a ball or runs around the track, And so we really wanted to make sure that we incorporated, the wholeness. And for athletes, right now that means your mental wellness and also taking advantage of your personal brand. We're in a new era of NIL right now, and we see all these athletes. We see the Caitlyn Jenners and the Shadur Sanders, making millions, but that's not the only type of contract you can get, And we felt like that was important, especially for the students that we reached. We are intentionally reaching out to students like here at TSU, Fisk University, the local universities that don't really get you may not have like a Caitlin Clark on any of the teams, but you guys are still athletes and you still deserve to know how to monetize and take advantage of your athleticism. And it's really important for you to be a whole person as it relates to your mental wellness.
So speaking about that being a whole person, we are both graduating soon, and we have a lot of friends that graduated last year, and they were all athletes, and we found like sort of a crisis because we do not know what are we good about, what is our life going to look like when we're not athletes. Some of our friends are waking up at 8 a.m. They're like, oh my God, I'm late.
With nothing to do.
Yeah, because they usually had practice at 6. Yeah. So they're like, even I, on the summer, on the days off, when I wake up at 7, I feel guilty for waking up at 7 because I feel like I'm late to be summer. So how do you help athletes to understand what is being a whole person? What are their other interests rather than sports?
Yeah, so when we work with athletes, we work specifically on that. We do things like personality assessments, career assessments, and we also specifically help them with transitioning out of the game because it can be depressing, it can raise anxiety issues, and so you need to have someone to help you navigate that change. It's just like any other change. Maybe when you came to Tennessee State University either from your high school or from another college, there was a transition period, and you may have felt like, I don't know, something's just not right. Well, that's called a transition. And we really help athletes deal with that transition, especially even if it's an injury, especially when it's injury. A lot of players get injured and they go through the same feel of like, all right, what now? I'm trying to get back on the field and I'm ready to play, but their body is not able to do so. So we have to help them with that transition. So it's not uncommon for students to graduate from college and they know that's probably the end of the road for their athletic career. And it's hard. And so that's why we step in and help with that.
To add what he says, a big part of that too is when you're the big dog on campus, there are some benefits that come with that, right? And so being the big dog on campus, and when I leave campus, I find out I'm a puppy, right? So psychologically that messes with you, but not even that. Financially it messes with you because whether it's a tangible or intangible gain, when you're the big dog on campus, there are some tangible gains there, right? I might be able to get free food. I might be able to, so things that financially we have to pay for, you might not have to do that on campus. So when you transition and you go to the real world, the reality hits you. So our goal is to make sure, let's talk about that. Let's make sure when you leave campus that you understand financially what that looks like. And everybody's not going to go to the NFL. I mean, we know that. Everybody's not going to be a pro tennis player. So how do I transition that? And how do I still have a good life, right? And if someone teaches you that, show you that, and they help you believe that you can still obtain that, you can still obtain a wealth and not be a professional football player, but you got to understand how to do that. So like he said, tap into that whole man is our goal.
And I'll add, like, as athletes, I'm a former athlete myself and I work with athletes, there's a lot of skills that you have that translate over into numerous careers. In fact, people look for athletes in jobs. Like if it's like a sales jobs, I was working with Belmont last year, a lot of doctors or former athletes. So there's any number of skill sets that you already have that can translate over into other careers. But you just have to be, made aware of that because what happens is you're told your whole life, you're an athlete, like only focus on this, don't miss practice, do this all the time. But there's more to your life than just that.
Absolutely. And I would say that's a perfect segue because you just mentioned, people that have graduated. Well, they could still come to the event because one of the sessions is post-athletic identity, dealing with grief. So they still matter. It's just let us figure out how we can make that happen. So we do have vendors that'll be there that may even be hiring on the spot. So it's not just a summit where we're talking to you the whole time. We anticipate having some fun things too.
So I have a question for Miss Mickey. Speaking of the financial stuff, because lately I'm discussing with my roommates, so what is going to be our next step we want to work. And actually what hit us, we're always the scholarship athletes. And we're like, okay, so we either have to find a job that is going to offer us a housing or we actually have to pay rent. And that's something brand new in our lives. So what would be some of the transition ideas that you would give to the graduating students?
So I'm glad you asked that because one of the things that what I was focused on when I decided to join this with them, I was thinking about even with the students that get the NIL money. This just gives you an idea of kind of how my head thinks. So if someone's giving me $40,000 a year, right, for my name and my brand, on a campus for 4 years, that'd be $240,000, right? And you don't look at it like that because you just see the $40,000. But for me, I'm thinking, the first thing I do is I look at buying a house. You say, well, why would I buy a house? Because I'm a freshman in college with $40,000. I could buy a house and I get a 4-bedroom and I can get you and to rent a room for me. And all 3 of you guys are on scholarships, right? So it's not coming out of your pocket, but I'm allowing you guys to pay my mortgage. And in 4 years, you've paid 4 years of mortgage. When I walk away, I can leave that property there. Now I have an asset. So at 22 years of age, I've got a $500,000 asset, right? That if I can leave there for another 5 to 7 years, it will pay for itself. Yeah. So before I'm 30 years old, I've got $500,000 liquid potentially in cash, right? Because mortgage, if that home appreciates, not depreciates, I can turn around and sell it. That becomes liquid cash, right? I can transition that into an investment. Before I turn the age of 40, I can have $1 million. But see, people don't think of it like that, right? So helping them educate them on that. And if you get scholarship money, how much extra money do you get over your scholarship? And then ask yourself, what are you doing with it? Because if you could take $2,000 or $3,000 a year and throw it into a savings and let it build, right now, interest rates are high. So not thinking about how that money time over time, what it could generate for you is a big miss. So for us, as we're sitting down talking to them, I want to be realistic for them, right? Take $100 and let's say take 10% and throw it into a savings. Let's see how much money you have at the end of the year. We don't think of it like that because compounding interest can make a difference.
A big difference. Compounding interest. That's a good one. Yeah, the rule of 72.
Yeah. Even, or I even flip it the opposite direction. You got credit cards. Are you using a credit card for your benefit? So me as a banker, but I use a credit card, but I pay everything with my credit card. And people think that's crazy. No, I pay it off every month, right? But when I get ready to go on vacation, I no longer budget for a vacation because I use a credit card that earns me points. All my points buy my hotel and buy my airline tickets. That's money I don't have to spend anymore. You see where I'm going with that? But we don't think about that. So teaching people how to use credit properly, how to save your money properly, and how to invest properly so that you get a greater return. Because as we said, everybody's not NFL, but does not mean you cannot be financially wealthy.
It looks like there's no scholarships in just regular life.
Not at all. Not at all.
So you got to.
It's the part I'm scared about.
It's called work. 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is a scholarship.
Well, I can see right now that y'all are like sparking interest on like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I won't be able to make it. But that is why we are doing this, is to capture sports enthusiasts, young professionals, athletes that have, left the sport, high school students, because the sooner you learn it, the more, more information is just going to help you out in general. And then we want parents there because if they're educated, they're just going to help, more the other children that they may have, or just be better for you. Because if your parents are right behind you and they know things, they're just, it's like we said, holistic. It's all around.
And remember too, you don't have to stay the whole day, right? I would say knowledge is power. And the more you learn, my favorite book says, all thou getting, get an understanding, right? So to me, it's important. If you don't have to stay the whole day, if you stay just a couple of hours or pick segments you want to go to, any nugget you can take away and you can use it in real life, it's going to help you. It's going to be to your advantage.
Yeah, that would be my advice. Is you were asking about, or what advice would you give to someone that's about to transition out? Like, get as much information that you can. Something, a conference like this, go meet people, network. You're an athlete. People want to work with you guys. I'm serious. There are jobs, there are people, careers. They're just waiting for you to show up. But you got to show up to get those opportunities.
Yeah, that is true. I agree, because a lot of athletes do not understand actually that our sport can also be looked as a job, because these are all of us things that we have to attend. So it's like our responsibilities, and also playing on the court, we're constantly solving problems and like giving the new solutions and trying to find new ways. And basically that is what you're doing in job as well.
Yeah.
You're facing the problems and you're digging and digging until you find the solution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Preach.
Preach.
You know what he said, and here's something else for people to think about. It says, well, I don't want to spend my whole day there. Think about this. How often do you get in front of a group of a lot of people who can influence and help navigate you through what it is that you want to do next in life? So collaboration is key, right? So anytime you get in front of a group of professional people who are connected, because you got to remember, it's always about connection. If I'm connected to her, then that's 10 people. Connected to him, that gives me 100 people. You want to be exposed to as many people as you can be exposed to, because you never know where your next opportunity comes from. So I encourage them to come.
That is very true. And I think that people are actually maybe not showing up. At least what I understand about talking with my teammates and friends is because they're scared of denial. So they're scared to ask for something because they're afraid for getting no as an answer. But it's also like, okay, that door is closed, but you know that that's closed, so you can focus on the another one. But it's okay to be denied. It's okay to not get accepted, but then just showing you that's not your path. So just choose another one, but it's going to be clear for you.
And I love the fact that you said they're afraid of the word no, because no means next opportunity. It does not mean the end.
Just
it means
to look at
next
it from the other perspective.
Yes, and so being in groups of people like that, coming to a group event like this, will help you be able to navigate through stuff like that. You know, a no does not mean I'm not able. No does not mean I don't have the capacity. No does not mean this is not right for me. No just means next time, next opportunity. It might not be with him, but it might be with her, right? Or not her or him. You know, we just don't know. So you have to change your mindset in that.
Also because sometimes those people are not looking for anybody new, but they might know somebody else who's looking, and they can give you their contact, you know? So that is the whole thing. Like, I'm trying to also encourage my friends, like, hey, go ask, because if you don't ask, you'll never know.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no. You know, so, you know, one of my mentors used to tell me, you just have to go for no. Go for them to tell you no.
Yeah.
Because it's a numbers game, really. The more no's there's like some formula that I came across. You got to go through so many no's before you get to that one yes. But that one yes, it changes everything, right? So go for no. We
were actually talking in the sports management class the other night. So our professor was explaining to us, dream big, and when you ask for a lot. Because, for example, he said, I was looking for the money from my friend to invest in some investment. I don't know. And he's like, I need 10 million from you. And he is like, okay, I'm going to give you 5. And he's like, but if I ask him for 5, he will give me 2.5. So if I shoot for high, I'm going to actually get what I want, which is very true. So you just have to be brave sometimes, and it's okay to not get what you want. But I think you're always going to get some sort of information.
Yeah.
At least like a redirection to somebody else.
Yeah, this is how it goes. You have to ask for like some ridiculous number, like a number that scares you almost.
Yeah.
I remember I was asking for numbers, and I'm like, man, do I really want to ask these people for all this money? And I just asked them. I just jumped out there and asked. And then, you know, what happened with one experience, like last year when we hosted the conference, I asked for $20,000 from the Titans. They actually came back and said, we're going to give you $40,000. And I was scared that I asked for the 20. I was like, I ain't never really asked anybody for 20,000. They were like, we're going to do you one better. We're going to give you 40 because they believed in what we were doing. And so you just have to be bold and go for no. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The key word is what you just said, belief. Yeah. And so when you believe in who you are, believe in your skill set, believe in the ability, and believe what you bring to the table, it should be an ask.
Yeah.
And there's not necessarily a number should be, you don't have to limit yourself when you really believe in what you're doing or believe in what you bring to the table. Because honestly, if you really believe and you come with a level of confidence, me as hiring people and me as engaging with people, often those people that come with a high level of confidence and a belief in what they can do, it activate a belief in me. Yeah. Right? So it makes me want to do it. So we have to, so that's what this conference is about.
Absolutely.
This conversation we're having, That's what this conference is about. And it's not about us being a talking head either. When we're having these groups and these panel groups, it's for engagement. We're not talking. We want you guys to ask the questions. We want to give the answer. We want to give resources, right? And that's how you build your connections too. As you're talking to people, get names and numbers. When you come to events like this, don't be afraid. Can I contact you? Can you mentor me? Can you ask? Right? If you don't ask, like you said, it's automatically a no, right?
Yeah.
But if you ask, maybe it's
It still might be no.
right? Yeah. But but in our mindset, we think no is bad, but no is not always bad though. So that's what this is about. Come ask the questions. Whatever question you have asked of us, we're there to give you the information to help you make better informed decisions as you transition from being a safe place, college, to the real world, right?
Me personally, I'm really big into being open to different opportunities, and like you said, I'm going for the no, and I'm hoping for the yes, and I want to be that yes person that every time there's an opportunity open up to me, I wanna be there for it. I wanna go for it and 100%, and hopefully I get into something better. But I wanted to ask you about your path. So I'm in sport administration, and I'm just realizing how much I can do to help players, to help athletes, different ways to help them. I mean, you into banking, but you're still helping athletes in some way, right? And I wanna know a little bit more about how did you get to your position, and and I wanna know if sport was always your interest from the beginning.
So for me, I started off as a therapist, a mental health therapist, but from the start, I knew I wanted to work with athletes. Again, being a former athlete, being a boxing coach and working with youth athletes, sports is just a part of my life. I've learned so much from playing the game that I played. It just becomes a part of who I am. And I found a career that enabled me to still work with athletes without being an athlete. But I still feel like an athlete. Like being around you guys is like, it awakens that like competitive spirit in me. And so I started off as a psychotherapist working, I was just diagnosing and treating mental illness, but I opened up my own practice and I specifically targeted it to athletes, grew a clientele from there, and just made a transition out of the diagnosing part of what I do and got into the mental performance side of it. And here I am today working with athletes, and I will probably continue on this path until I'm done working. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I stumbled upon working with athletes, but I was a dancer growing up, competitive. I was a Tiger Gym here at TSU. Went on to cheer for the Titans. Didn't like it, but I respected my coach. I did not like it at all, but I respected my coach, and I asked her, how did you get in a position where you were? So she was like, okay, anytime you go to an appearance, figure out who brought you there. Figure out who brought you to that room. So I would go and just basically bogart my way into jobs. At that point, I was like, hey, you got anything that I could stay in sports? Because I liked it. I loved being at game days and just seeing fans there, athletes, cheerleaders. We were there on the side just to be a little bit closer to the action. But that was really where the passion started. Worked at 102.5 The Game. That's ESPN radio. But again, when I say bogarting my way into a position, the only thing they had available was just working the boards. So I produced shows first, and then they said, you have a great personality. You should be out in the front. So I did marketing and promotions for a little bit. With street teams. So when you go to an event, there's always someone, hey, passing out a shirt or telling you, hey, thanks for coming. That was sort of what I was doing. Fast forward a little bit, just because I always want to do more. I'm just a nerd at heart. So I ended up working at a sports agency, and that's where I sort of fell into this particular space, which is working with athletes on their community engagement, because they have stories to tell. It's just you need someone who's going to sit and listen to you and try to bring it to life versus you just being a money pot. And you have more of that out there than people like myself. So it's a passion project for me. Not sure why I'm doing it, but hey, I love helping y'all.
So most bankers will say they're accidental bankers, and so I would say I'm an accidental banker. Right? My passion was growing up. I love math. It has nothing to do with banking. I just love the complexity of math. So I started off the college to do a mathematician, and then I switched over because I got bored with it. And I got a degree in accounting and then a degree in CJ emphasis in corporate law. So I thought I was going to be a judge because I thought I can be really good at that. Long story short, got vetted for one of the agencies, and it took a long time, so I went to banking. And because of the holidays they gave us off, I thought, this is where I want to be. You get like an additional 20 days off a year. And so I stayed in the banking part, but where we think about what we're doing and what me working with them, I found quickly as a banker that my passion was making sure that the affluent and the working class, they all had the same opportunity. So as I learned and I became very knowledgeable, and I'm kind of like Ashley, I'm a nerd. I dig deep. I want to understand all of it. As I start digging deeper and understanding, and I'm one of those people who say, if you know something, I'm going to suck you dry to try to get all you know from you. And I think that's how you have to be, right? Not intimidated by anyone. I just want to know what you know. And so in doing that, I recognize there's a huge gap between the affluent and the working class, right? And when you start assessing it, you understand it's just knowledge. It's knowledge. They had someone who showed them, navigate them, and help them, and this group have not. So we started off talking, you know, what you don't know, right? So my goal is always to help. How can I bridge that gap? Because everybody has the same opportunity, but you got to have the knowledge to get you there. The opportunity is there, right? But if I don't know how to navigate or make it happen, it's really not an opportunity. So working with them, I work with a lot of small businesses, helping them scale their business, get to the next level. So this became an opportunity for me to work in the community and do the same thing, because I see athletes as it's a business. Some of them will end up being entrepreneurs. Some of them will be laborers. Some of them will be a corporate America. But at the end of the day, I don't care what role you take, you have to own it like it's yours, right? And so my goal is to help give them that knowledge to help them do that.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your stories. So just to close up, I have a question. Can somebody just say where can people register and where they can find all of the information about the event happening on Friday?
So you can go to R2A Summit, the letter R, the number 2, and the letter A, summit.com, and you can register right there. It's free. Be sure to come ready to have some fun, be ready to engage, ask questions, network, meet other student athletes, meet the professionals that are there, be ready to be empowered, and be ready to learn how you can make some money, but off of your athletic prowess. So R2ASummit.com is where you can get that information and register.
Perfect. And before we close up, do you have anything else to share with our listeners?
I think we have some giveaways, too. We don't want to give away what the giveaways are, but
we don't?
No,
Ashley, what's the giveaways, Ashley?
No, we're not going to give away the giveaways. Come show up and see what the giveaways are. We have some. We have had some sponsors because they're just as passionate as we are about this. So they're not rinky-dinky giveaways. They're giveaways you will want, right? So come see what we have to give away. We have some really good giveaways. If they don't come, I guess I can give it to my
We're going to have a whole lot to give away.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you will want it.
Yes. So we have some giveaways, though, because it's important that people come and we want them to walk away with something other than just knowledge, right? So we have some tangible things to give them, too. But the intangibles, they're priceless. Come on out.
Yeah, I think this is just an event. It's made just for athletes. It's strictly for you guys, and we set it up. The stage is set, and all we need is for you guys to be there to receive all this that we are giving to you guys. And it's really just like, when we pitch it to universities, we say, let us help your student athletes. Just let us help them. All you have to do is put this event in front of them and maybe help get them there. And we're going to help you help your student athletes. And so we're looking forward to a great day, Friday, April the 19th.
Yeah, we're changing it up. Don't say you can't get anything for free. We're giving it away for free.
Yeah. I like no charge. We're going to give it to you at no charge. I don't know. It's just...
Well, I guess it's, I guess you're right. Yeah. It's free.
Yeah. It's free. Free. Free is like the number one most persuasive word in the English dictionary.
There you go.
All right, yo. Thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you for being our guest.
And, thank you.
Yeah, you have a good day.
All right.
Just say